Hi, I'm Max,
Hi, I'm Aislinn.
and today we're going to be talking about Dawn of Cultures. Middle-class Americans enjoyed leisure activities. Leisure means free time of enjoyment. And we all know big, busy cities can be quite annoying. But in the 19th centuries, they didn't bother those people as much because they started building amusement parks, bikes, theaters, and spectator sports. So, as we mentioned, amusement parks.
Many cities put aside greenland areas for people's enjoyment, like adding playgrounds and fields. Then trolley car companies used this to attract more people. Roller coasters drew customers to Coney Island in 1884. First Ferris wheel was seen in Chicago in 1893.
Bikes and tennis. The first bike had a huge front wheel and a small back wheel called a high rider. This was the first bike actually ever made. Why they had a huge front wheel and a very small back wheel, I don't know. But in 1885, the first safety bike was built, which was two wheels like we have now that are the regular size. This bike dropped off the weird frame and didn't have any crossbars in the front. But this made women start making tailor blouses called skirt waists and split skirts, and this actually became a daily wear. Susan B. Anthony said that bicycling actually gave women freedom. And in 1888,
50,000!
men and women became cyclers. And along with 312 American companies produced 10 million bikes in 1 year. Tennis originated in North Wales in 1873. Americans loved tennis and they actually started competing the very next year. And since all these people were getting so hungry and tired while they were biking and playing tennis, they invented the Hershey bar and Coca-Cola. Spectator sports.
Boxing and baseball became a great sport to watch starting in the early 20th century. Many crowded into barbershops and hotel lobbies just to watch if they couldn't attend.
Baseball.
In 1845, Alexander J. Cartwright, an amateur player, organized a club in New York City, set down regulation using elements of an English sport called rounders. 5 years later, 50 baseball clubs had sprung up in the United States. In 1869, a professional team named the Cincinnati Red Sox toured this country. This led to a formation of the National League in 1876 and the American League in the 1900s. African Americans weren't allowed to play in the White League, so they created their own.
With more people able to read and write, more people were able to go to libraries, art galleries, and even museums started becoming more popular. With these new things becoming more popular, all of the largest cities had at least one art gallery. And a man by the name of Thomas Eakins started trying to portray life as it truly was. Eakins was one of the first painters who tried to paint people just in their daily lives. But in Europe, many people were trying to make abstract art, which was making it really hard for people to understand why Eakins was trying museums to a library to understand what they were actually looking at. But then people would harass them because people who went to college would call libraries. Now let's get into the philosophy of things.
A big part of philosophy was pragmatism. Pragmatism was a school of philosophical thought developed in the United States in the 1870s by Charles Peirce and William James. It was to reconcile the tensions between science, morality, and religion. Science was based on facts and observed by evidence, based on faith, feelings, and beliefs.
Now this is getting a little bit boring. Let's get into some entertainment.
In performing arts, audiences could choose from a wide range of music, drama, circus, and motion pictures. Vaudeville theater performances included song, dance, juggling, and slapstick comedy. In 1888, the Edison Company engineer William Dickinson developed the first successful motion picture camera. The Kindergraph. Around the turn of the century, a new style of music swept the nation. This is called ragtime.
Entertainment was fiction. At this time in history, people thought that fiction should be uplifting. So most of the fiction was tales of crime and Wild West adventures. A lot of people couldn't afford books, and they didn't have the time to spend reading books. So people invented books called dime books, which only costed a dime, obviously. They were kind of like old-fashioned comic books, but there are always those people who want to read bigger books. And at the time, they would be reading books of Theodore Dreiser, Stephen Crane, Jack London, and Mark Twain.